This Upsa Football Friday is powered by Soccerbeat. My name is Umchaka. Hang out with the cheese, the most expensive mozzarella. You have him for breakfast, lunch, and supper. We have Ficharisha. He's there. Left, right, and center. Yabangena. We are with you here, Soccerbeat lovers. Of course, in the comments, like, let us know you are in the comments. You are here with us, watching us. So that we can just acknowledge you and say, we see you. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about on the show. Cheesy's got an untold story that you must stick around to hear. Obviously, I was powered by Absa. Your story matters. Cheesy's untold story will leave you speechless. I don't know what whether you'll be gobsmacked or you'll be laughing. So stick around for that. Of course, we're going to talk about Ribeiro. Cheesy, you know about these things. Wanting out when you can see your future is not at the club. You can let us know your views when ibona kanjani Cheesy lento ka Ribero, of course noMudau, kwenzakalani ibona kanjani Cheesy. Pirates Sundowns this weekend, MTN 8 semi-final, second leg Cheesy. Yo, there can only be one. Yeah. So Zagu Cheesy, what he thinks Mbule, should he be starting Cheesy? These are the big matches that he was signed for, you know. Which players do you see shining this weekend? Cheesy will let us know. Stick around, as I said, for that untold story. Cheesy, it's Absa Football Fridays. Abantu bafuna umphako for the weekend, daughter.
Oh yeah. Bring us. Absa Football Friday, madoda. Sila bafethu. Siniphathela umphako isikhaftines right, yeah? Something to take for the weekend.
Shut down those laptops. Here we go, Ribeiro, Cheesy. How has it come to this, Cheesy? This guy was lighting up South Africa. Everybody's going nuts about him. They're excited about him. Excited. He's really doing well. Club World Cup, best goal at the Club World Cup. But here we are, Cheesy. He comes back and he tells his club, yeah, now he's ready to walk. Yeah, basically, I'm resigning.
Mchara, a very difficult situation, and it's not only him, Mchara. You know, a lot of players go through these things, you know, and I mean, he was one of the outstanding players for Sundowns last season. You know, he even scooped up a lot of awards, you know, in the league, and he did well at the Club World Cup. So, of course, the offers are going to come, you know, and as a player, you always want to grow, you want to challenge yourself, you know, and in the things that we face in our country where teams don't wanna release the so-called key or star players uh, before they probably get a replacement, you know. And it's sad because I mean, Ribero is a quality player, man. And if there is an offer, I think the club shouldn't put a ridiculous amount. I think it's only fair for them to let the player go. Same scenario, I think also Mudau. And what happens is that the player tends to be sidelined, you know, and we've been through these things, you know, and whereby you're no longer training with the team, you know, and they start looking for small things now to tell the public that, you know, you're not attending training, you know, your attitude has changed, but they don't know what's the reasons behind, you know, and that's why sometimes we need psychologists to be part of this game because it really affects the footballer. Because, I mean, if a club, I'm making an example here. I mean, if a club like a Man United or Liverpool or Barcelona comes knocking, I think any player would love to grab that opportunity. You know, you put money aside, but you want to grow your career and make sure that you establish your name throughout the whole world, you know. And not saying that at Sundowns he does not have the platform, but of course he wants to up his level a bit, you know, and that might also affect the team, you know, because other players as well feel as if this one is getting special treatment. Why is he
Yeah.
back in the team where there were these issues and there were those issues, you know? So it's a tricky one, you know. But for me personally, I would Sundowns can get any player they want. I mean, they can sign any top player they want. They can find a replacement for Ribeiro. And Sundowns is not only based on Ribeiro, you know, it's not only him. He's not only the star player of that team. There's a lot of quality players that have played for that club, you know, and have left. So I think it's a great opportunity for him. Hopefully he gets the chance to leave the club, you know. It will be better for Orlando Pirates if Ribeiro is leaving.
Did they get a player at Ribeiro's level so quickly, Cheese? I mean, we have to think about the situation here. Ribeiro is saying, as you said, also ridiculous amount. What is a ridiculous amount here, Cheese? He's a star player, player of the year, you know. So Sundowns are losing a player of the year caliber player. Um, where they gonna find this kind of player? Maybe is the situation at Sundowns. What is then a ridiculous amount for this kind of player?
Well, listen, maybe for an example, maybe the club. I'm making an example here, because I don't have the figures. I don't know the figures and what's been offered to Ribeiro. But if you make an example of uh, a player like Nkota that has just left, I think they
Sure.
offered the club around about 33 million, if I'm right,
Hmm.
and the offer looked good for the club. Looking at what they've invested in the player, maybe they spent around about 10, 15 to that player. They also want to make something out of that as well. And looking at a player like Ribeiro, I mean, he's only been here for what, 3 seasons? First season was trying to adjust, got into the groove, became one of the best players. And of course, with the money that they had bought him, obviously they want to make that back as well. But what's hurtful here is that while you're doing your contract negotiations, these kind of things do come up. And the club always agrees. If you get an offer, we are going to let you go. Doesn't matter the amount, as long as it's higher than what we got you at. So with
Mm.
Ribeiro, maybe the club has offered maybe 50 million for him. So we pay 50 million for a player like him. And Sundowns says, no, we want 100 million. Why? Because he
Mm.
has upped his value while he was still at Sundowns and he had
Mm.
the opportunity at
Mm.
Sundowns. But now the question lies, where does that leave the player? Because the player had agreed earlier to say, guys, if I get an offer, I leave. Does not matter the amount, but as long as it's a good offer and an offer that you guys cannot refuse, then let me leave. But South Africa, it happens all the time, man. A club is saying we want to buy Cheesy for 10 million. My club says no, we want 100 million for Cheese. And the other club that's buying as well don't want to take a risk and pay so much money for somebody that
Yeah.
has not yet played at that higher level. So it's a give and take. It's a 50-50 issue here. But I think the player is the one that loses out the most because the agent also wants to make something. The club wants to make something out of that. What about the player?
Mudau, Cheesy. You know, similar boat. Ribeiro. There's opportunities elsewhere, but somehow
Mm.
agreements are not happening. Um, we're not hearing for sure whether he's trying to get a better contract to stay. What we are hearing is there's interest elsewhere, and it's not happening.
I mean, you're talking about a Bafana International here, man. I think the man has proven himself over the years at Sundowns, and there's nothing more sad as a player being kept at the club where you no longer have the hunger and the will because you've won
Mm.
almost everything. For an example, if
Eish.
you've won everything, you've won the league, you've won all the cups, you the Champions League, what's more to play for? Because what's going to happen there is just going to be a dip of form. Because now at the back of your mind, you're thinking, wow, I should be going to the next level, but I'm still being captured to still fight for the same league that I've won 3, 4 times, the cups that I've won 2, 3, 4 times. Can't I evolve as well as a player and try and test myself? Because age is also not in his side. You understand? So it's very key that they sort this thing out for the benefit of the country and for the player. Because with Mudau sitting out, guys, there's also the AFCON coming up, the World Cup coming up, qualifiers, all these things are coming up. And you don't want to have a player like him sitting out for that long because I'm sure Hugo Bruce is biting his nails in terms of why is it not this guy? Because he's got his core. He's one of his core and a very key player in our Bafana team. And when he's not playing, I mean, what does that do for us as a country? We fall backwards. So it's sad to hear what's happening to Mdao. But I know he's strong. I know that he'll bounce back. What's important right now is the negotiations to take place. If the club agrees, then if the offer is good, he can go. But if the offer is not good and the club feels you can stay for another season, so why not play for another season, and hope that you get a better offer with the World Cup and the AFCON coming. Definitely, you will get a better offer. But if ever nothing has been offered to you, I mean, Orlando is not far away, my guy. There's a problem of right backs there.
I was gonna say you're probably celebrating this situation because It means Sundowns arrive this weekend when they face Orlando Pirates in that semi-final second leg. Cheesy, they face them as wounded soldiers, as a disorganized um, army going into battle. Because there's a couple of unhappy people. There's a couple of people who are uncertain of their future at the club. Maseko, the Lukaku's getting their opportunities but not taking them. Kuningi nje Cheesy. Ukado also has to make some big decisions going into this weekend.
I think this upcoming weekend, I think it's a obvious. I mean, you looked at the league match against Makesi. The coach rested about 8 to 9 players, that played the last game that against Orlando Pirates. So it's clear that the coach is sending a message that, okay, with this game, I'm giving the young ones an opportunity, or the guys that haven't really been playing an opportunity, but also I'm resting the other guys so that they can play in the empty end. But sometimes what that does, it destabilizes the team because it means now these are the regulars. So if I'm sitting there and I'm not playing, I'm like, okay, so even if I play well against Magesi, even if I score against Magesi, definitely I'm not starting the game against Orlando Pirates, So it's going to be a game of the unhappy people versus the happy people, So where the story like. So my Mtara,
And that's
we
yeah.
we in, we in for an interesting match, because he probably has players that are well rested, but there is a little bit of tension in the squad amongst players, amongst management, and that. But you cannot write Sundowns out because of that, because I think they have a way of getting the result, But also Pirates, on the other hand, they have a cup to defend, and slowly the team is picking up. You saw the result against in the last league match. I mean, same team, and I'm sure the team is. I'm sure the coach is still going to use the same team going forward. I think that's what he said in the press conference. That look, I didn't get a chance to rest my players, but I know my players will soldier on. But now the tricky part is here. They have a little bit of momentum because now Sundowns players have rested for how many days? Will they like immediately hit the ground running when the game starts? So I think Pirates will have a little bit of an upper hand when it comes to that in terms of the sharpness of the match. Maybe fatigue a little bit in the later half of the second half, but I think Pirates stand a good advantage on this one, But you can't write a team like Sundowns out, On a good day, they will really punish you. So it's all about both teams being humble and respecting each other, and knowing that this is a cup game. It could go either way, It doesn't matter the problems you have, my guy. All problems go out the way once you enter that four corner. The Firu ke baba.
You were a captain, Cheesy. You had to manage the squad, help the coach manage the squad. Because now the tensions are high. Everybody, wonke umuntu ufuna udlala, Cheesy. Wonke umuntu ufuna
Yeah.
udlala. You just said there's some players who probably feel like even if they played well, there's some certain players that are going to walk into the starting 11. Um, are the jokes such as thanks for keeping my position warm, boy. I'm gonna take over on Saturday. Are those jokes? Um, you know, um, how are those managed in this kind of week?
Look, I think it takes character for that, and I think Ronwen has got a huge responsibility ahead of himself, Mshishi as well, Dennis Onyango. I'm talking about the senior guys at Sundowns right now, to make sure that they keep the change room in in harmony, keep the players in one set of mind frame in terms of what's the end result, right? So as a captain, it's very important that you keep the guys together and always encourage the ones that are not playing. Because I had a similar situation. We were not playing, other players were playing, but we always have to keep faith and make sure that we push the guys, because for them to get better, it is because of the guys that are not yet given an opportunity. Because to train, you need an opponent, somebody that's going to push you. So it's the very same player that you're gonna need. So it's useless for you to tell another guy that, oh, thank you for keeping my position warm. I'm gonna be the one that's starting. Yes, we know you're gonna start, but you don't need to brag and tell us about it. All you can do is make sure that you tell us to be ready when the opportunity comes and keep us motivated, because at the end of the day, we are a team. That's why it's football. We are a team. So once there's separations and there's players that feel yeah, well, I'm the star of the team, I'm gonna start anyway. And you start throwing those toys around next to your teammates, that's gonna cause division. You start having players on the side that don't play, set on one side, players that play, set on the other side. So it's very key that the players do manage it, because some things are out of the coach's hands. Whatever happens in the change room there is just us discussing about the coach, discussing about the team, the players that are playing. Some players are not happy that a certain player is playing because they feel, I mean, I deserve to play. I'm better than this player. But the coach is going to the one that has the final say.
Ufuna ubonani from Pirates get cheesy. Because here's the opportunity. Sundowns sound from what we discussed now, cheesy. You painted a picture of a very disorganized team. And I'm sure the viewers also will agree with us that yeah, what we've said now is exactly what's happening in there. There's a lot of work that's going to need to be done off the field, besides Jay what's on the pitch. But Pirates, what do you want to see? From them, how can they take advantage of this?
Yeah, well, I think for Pirates, it's about consistency in terms of their performance. I think that will be very key, because I mean they played well against Sundowns. Coming from the back-to-back loss, you could see the character. I think the team has got enormous talent. They got energy, same as Sundowns as well. And like I said, Mchara, you cannot write off Sundowns because of other underlining issues. On the day, the players are going to be there on the park. They know what they are there to do. They want to win the cup. Sundowns hasn't won this cup, I don't know, yeah, in years, hey. So Pirates know how to win this cup. They have an advantage because they've been here before. It strikes a bit of fear to the Sundowns players that, you know what, we come from a 1-1 with these guys. And the last time I checked, the last two parts of the MTN 8, we lost to the very, very same team. So what are the chances? What are the odds? The same as the people that are betting. If they look at the odds, they're definitely going to go with Pirates on this one, to say Pirates beat Sundowns in the cup matches. So I think Pirates will take advantage of all the situation that's happening. I'm hearing Sundowns is not playing as fluid as they used to, but obviously there were changes. But with the other key players coming back in, I think we're in for a thriller of a match. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. And but for Pirates, they need to step it up. They need to score. That's the thing about Orlando Pirates. They create the chances, not enough, but the 1, 2 chances that you get, you need to score. Because a team like Sundowns, they didn't need to play good football. They get one chance, they score. It's in the back, they close shop, and they through to the final. But I think advantage will be for Sundowns, not for Pirates, because of the way Pirates has been, playing for the past few games, and also because Pirates is going through a change. There's a change at Orlando Pirates, so things are not expected to run as smooth as they were when the previous coach was in charge. But I know that Amaparania feel that, you know what, if we can have a 1-1 draw against this quality side that's coming from the Club World Cup with a mix of new players, definitely they are going to give them a run for their money.
And exactly that. Must swipe on my card, we have to go up such easy. When we
Swipe,
swipe our cards,
swiper,
buying our
swiper,
tickets.
swipe,
Yeah, when you buy our
swipe,
tickets,
swipe.
when you buy our tickets, they're cheesy. Um, we
Thank
want
you.
to see the best players play against the best players. This is one of those games that we wanted to see a Sipombule here on this pitch. I mean, I don't care if you even don't support Pirates. When that signing was made, the whole South Africa took notice. So what do you say to the people who are all worried that he might not even feature in this game? Why do you think he's not playing, Cheese?
Look, I think this one would lie with the coach's tactics on the day, and also a player like Sipo, who'll be playing against his former team as well. I mean, he played well when he came on in the last match. And of course they have a lot of detail about him, and if it's a player that if you might start, the tempo of the game, because Sipo is Sipo Mfethu. He's the master chef. They always say good food takes time to prepare. So with the chef as well, he's come on and he's made a huge difference when he comes onto the field. So I think even with this upcoming match, I think the coach is still gonna start him on the bench, see how the game goes, because Sipo can read the game well from the bench, even when he's on the field of play. So in terms of the energy, because he's not a very defensive player. And the first 20, first 30 minutes, 45, it's high intensity all the way. So I think that will be the reason why maybe the coach might put him on the bench. and probably have him as a player that might come in to manage the game, and also with the minutes. Remember, Sipa hasn't been playing for so long, guys. It's only probably his third or fourth game. He hasn't really played a full 90 minutes. So looking maybe at the stats, and also because I think these days they play with these monitors that check how many kilometers you've ran and what do you need to be fit. So maybe the numbers are not adding up yet. But yeah, but Spola will be available. Definitely not starting, but he is going to make a change as soon as he gets the opportunity to come in.
I've seen it at Sundowns where Tembazwane was expected. Where it was like, surely now he's going to bring on Tembazwane, and he didn't. And then Cardoso didn't. And then another game, surely now. And then he didn't. So, hey, there's a lot of people worried, Cheesy. But of course, we're obviously hoping for the best of the best. This is the marquee game that everybody wanted to see. The best
Yeah.
midfielders, I think, in the country will be up against each other. Cheesy, what if Pirates don't get the result that you expect against Sundowns?
Well, I think it will be a hard pill to swallow for the team. If it happens, it will be a third loss for the team. I'm just not going to solely pull it on the coach because it affects the players as well. Um, I think I think it might affect the rhythm a bit. It might affect the confidence a bit because the last two games have really given them a little bit of hope and confidence, and also for the guys that have come in, it has given them a bit of hope, and the fans as well. They have a little bit of hope now. Okay, we slowly trying to see what the coach is trying to do in terms of the players playing in different positions, the system. I mean, we're seeing the center backs having assists. Something different that Paris never used to do. So
Mm,
I don't think
mm,
it's going to be a
mm.
train smash because what has been said is the fans are going to have to be patient because this is what happens when you have a new coach. Things don't automatically fall into place. So
Yeah.
it's expected that if they lose the match, fans of course are not going to be happy. No one wants to be a laughing stock. Oh, we lost, we're out of the cup, and there'll be talks. Yeah, the previous coach won it. Just give the coach a fair chance as well. Give the players a fair chance. They are going to need a bit of time, but if they win, I think it will be a moral booster for them going into the league matches.
And now it's time for that untold story, Cheesy. Absa, your story matters. Proudly powered by Absa. Your story matters. Cheesy, the untold story. What you got for us, Ndal?
Look, today I got a story about a coach that I worked with at Orlando Pirates. Coach Owen Dagama. A lot of players might know Coach Owen with a lot of stories. Coach Owen Dagama, you'll start training, um, get your warm up done, get your passing drill done, and then he'll sit you down and have a chat. And those are the funny stories that he always comes up with. He once told us, that while he was still playing in Europe, because Owen Da Gama was a striker, and he was very aggressive, quick, he loved to score goals. So he had a problem with Rudzani. I think it was Rudzani Ramudzuli. It's like, yeah, you came into Joburg now. Now you are soft now, Rudza. You are soft. Remember me when I was still playing? I remember I was playing one of the games. I got hit by one of the defenders in the corner kick. And then I checked for the ball. I came back. One of my teammates tapped me here. He said, Owen, look, your nose is broken. He said, my nose was here. I couldn't even see. My teammate told me that. And he said, he turned around and he said, he put his nose back. He said, I put my nose back like this. And then once it was back, I scored 3 goals on that day. So you must have heart as a footballer. Even if your leg is hanging like this, continue to play. So I was like, I'm a coach. How can you play with your nose, your nose being here, and you just pull it back, and you are already still. Heitor is going as pale, but there'll be more to come, Joe. There's a lot that I can tell about Coach Owen. I mean, that's me. Watch us on the next episode.
We've got
I'll give you another one about Owen.
only for you, Soccerbeat family. Only for you. For joining us. Thank you, Cheesy. Cheesy's here, just sharing these stories exclusively for you, and you got the best seat in the house. Thank you, Cheese. And guys, Coach Owen, you'll be here to come back and confirm or deny. Your nose was here.
I want to know.
Let the
He
beat
must
do the
confirm.
talking.
He must come and confirm, coach. Coach, please tell these strikers that you were not a soft striker. You took your nose, you put it there, you scored 3 goals. The team won. What else?
Let the beat do the talking.
Soccerbeat,